Hello, my name is Bill Ballou and this is my buddy Dan Koleski. We're going to talk to you about the 14 fur bearers in New York State. These are 14 animals that the state has designated as fur bearers. There are a lot more animals, but these are the 14 fur bearers. One thing I want you to remember, if you remember anything today of what I tell you, is not one of these animals is on the endangered species list. Not one. There's some of them that are not in certain areas, but that's just the geography of it. So the first one I'll start off with is the largest one on land, is the New York State coyote. Very large. I hear they get up to 75 pounds. I've seen them in the 70s. The next one in canines is the red fox. This is more of an open land animal. There's a lot of them around in old farm country, not so much in the backwoods and that. We have an awful lot of them. I have had as many as 7 litters in the village of Camden at one time. They're doing very well. Yeah. Now we have the gray fox. The gray fox is a little bit different than the red. He goes into the woods more. And the other thing about the red fox and the gray fox, this coyote will kill them if he catches them in their area. So the red fox is smart in that, and he's very fast, and he can usually get away from him. But the gray fox is short-legged in that, and he has developed the ability to climb trees. So that's how he gets away from them. Yeah. Now we'll go to an interesting group of animals that we have here in New York called the musceloids. And everybody knows the chief musceloid, the skunk. You see him on the road, smell him on the road, and that they're quite an animal. They are rabies carriers. Most of these animals will carry rabies. You've got to be very, very careful with rabies. There is no cure for rabies, so please talk to your teachers and adults what to look out for in that, because we do have rabies in New York State. Also, we've had the coyote. He's everywhere in New York State. They've even found 3 of them down in Central Park in New York City. Okay, now we have the marten, pine marten. He's in the Adirondacks. He's very shy. He's in the Five Peaks area. There's a few around in different places, but he's doing very good. It's really a great comeback animal in New York State. The other comeback animal that we have is the fisher. This animal was reintroduced, probably 50 years ago, and they've done very well. They're expanding all over. They're great animal. They're very, very fast, super fast. They can catch a squirrel in a tree. They are a musceloid. They do have a smell to them. But they are just an amazing animal to see in the woods, because you see them and then they're gone. They're so fast. Then we have the weasel. That's the king of that's the head of the musceloid family. It's kind of hard to believe the smallest animal we have only weighs a few ounces, and they do turn white in the wintertime. They get into, they're also called nature's killer. They get into chicken coops and that. Back in the 1800s and early 1900s, there was a lot of family farms and that. They'd get in and they'd kill a lot of chickens. So that's how they got called nature's killer. Then we have the mink. That's the most used fur in the world today, has been for years. They used to say it was the lady's best friend. There were millions of them raised every year in the European nations. There was just farm after farm of them. The fur market went out about 3 or 4 years ago. Europe is just about out of them, and we are too. There's all over upstate New York, there are mink, and pretty well downstate. Then we have the otter, nature's play animal. They're so good at catching their food that they got a lot of time to play. It's really great to watch a group of these. They're very, very loud. They actually, how loud they are really surprised me for being a nature animal. That boy, they bark and they chirp and they have one heck of a good time. And they get into a lot of farm ponds and that. They can be a nuisance, but we have a very, very good population of otter. Then we have the bobcat. We have basically two areas in New York State where the bobcat are. Up in the Adirondacks and down in the Catskills. Actually, the Catskills have more bobcat per capita than any other state on the East Coast. Lots and lots of bobcat, but they're only in certain areas. Around Rome and Utica and like that, we do have a few, but not a lot. And here's the old man of the group, the opossum. Up till a few years ago, we thought they'd only been on Earth for about 3 or 4 million years. Well, they went and proved that wrong. They're supposed to have been on Earth for 18 million now. They carry their young in a pouch. They got a tail. They wrap around a limb on a tree. They'll hang by their tail. They'll eat just about anything. It doesn't matter how old or anything else that it is. But that's Mr. Opossum. Then we have the skunk, or the raccoon. A lot of raccoons in New York State, just about everywhere. They can be a real nuisance. They'll eat through the side of a house and get in and that. They are rabies carriers, so again, you got to be watching them. They're more apt to see them in the city and like that than most of these other animals. Probably of any animal that you'll find more of in the city is the raccoon. So stay away from them. Don't get near them because they are rabies carriers. Okay, now we have the muskrat. This little animal right here is really quite an animal. If you took a pair of muskrats, a male and a female, took all the predation away, all the disease away, and in 10 years, you'd have over 10,000 muskrats. They'll have 3 and 4 litters a year. We have a lot of them around here. We still have a lot of water in upstate New York, and they do seem to follow the water. There's quite a few of them. Now we have the beaver. This is the animal that opened up the western part of the United States. All the trappers and the mountain men and that went out west to get these animals for sending back to England and European nations. They made the top hats. They grind them all up real fine. And they still, as a matter of fact, they do. Most of your good cowboy hats and that are all made out of beaver. But as the mountain men went west, the farmers followed them. Pretty soon they got to the Pacific Ocean. They were all done, but we still have lots and lots of beaver. One of the biggest animals that we have the most problem with. And and also this is a sheared beaver. This is a regular beaver right out of a pond. It's kind of beat up. We've had it for over 50 years, but they're very nice, very easy animal to wear. They aren't curly like this. Usually they have them straight. Why they curl this one, I don't know. Well, that's it. That's your 14 fur bearers, and I thank you very much.